Hello everybody, good morning peeps, as they would say. It's a bit cold out there, isn't it? Yeah, cold and bright down here. We've got no snow, just lots of ice everywhere. It has to be said. Been around doing the boiling water onto the bird bowls and things, and Tommy, the cat who's sat here, he will insist on drinking outside and from a couple of shallow bowls and things that we have out there. So I've had to defrost them and put in some clean water for him because he's been busting for a drink. He was stood there looking at me and looking at the bowl and looking at me. Quite funny. So anyway, he's now had a nice drink and he's a happy chappy, and all the birds will be able to have a little drink too. Anyway, so cold, which sort of brings me on to, I think it's actually perfect weather for hand quilting or finishing bindings. Just love it. Can you imagine? And I do frequently. In front of the fire. We're fortunate in that we've got a log burner. We used to have an open fire, which I have to say I prefer, but we've got a log burner, which is still lovely. You can see the flames doing its thing. And to sit cosy in front of that, doing a bit of stitching is just lovely. You don't want to do anything else for the day or evening or whatever. So I thought I'd show you what I had been doing a while back. Behind me is what I call my yellow quilt. Although having said that, the lime is quite popping in it now. I'm looking at it. Well, I'm just doing this because I've got cold all of a sudden. It's cold in my studio. I've got the fires on, but it's still cold. The lime's popping out there, isn't it? Yeah, quite a bit. So yeah, yellow quilt, and it's got daisies and things in it, and it's all very, very random. It's a design from a friend of mine who very kindly lets me teach it quite often. I find it's really, really good to do for beginners. It's lovely. It can hide a multitude of sins and it teaches you an awful lot along the way. So there we go. So that's my yellow quilt. Now, I was doing the binding the other night, which is why I'm sort of said that this sort of weather is ideal for it. And I've got another couple that need binding. So I'd finished doing that one. It's been quilted by Sarah Ambleside Quilting because I prefer hand quilting personally, I have to say. But I don't get the time to do as much of it as I would want, and I would never ever keep up with all the quilt tops that I now make and design for people. So I do get Sarah to do them for me. And this particular one, she's done a lovely, I don't know if you can see it, it's an all over design, a pantograph as they call it, of sunflowers and daisies. Well, it's a sunflower or a daisy. I'll show you the back. I don't know if you'll be able to see the quilting in it or not. If I move it about a bit, you might. But it's one for me. I so rarely make anything for us, be it husband or me or anyone else, because I tend to give things away, or they're designed for teaching and for displaying at shows and things like that, for techniques and whatever. So this was one that I'd been sort of stashing bits and pieces of material that I quite liked, and I'm going to use that. It will probably get used tonight like it's been used for the last week. In front of that fire whilst I'm doing another binding. So there we go. I just thought I'd let you know what else I do when I'm not. Now we're Witter Quilt 8 block 2, and originally I'd said we're going to do large blocks, so 16-inch blocks and all the rest of it, but I was looking through me traditional blocks and I'm like, ooh, actually I quite like that one there. So my other thought had been that maybe we'll put a few odd size blocks together and see what we can come up with when we get there. So today's one is here. All right, so it's a 12-inch finish, this one, which at some point will give us a nice 4-inch bit that we need to play with or fill in. That could be quite good, I think. Nice and simple. The actual original block that I was looking at has 4 squares in the centre. But because my fabric, I don't know if you can see that clear enough, it's just so full on and lovely, I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to do one big square in the centre, so I've got a 6-inch square in the middle there instead of 4 3-inch squares. All right, so there's your design. I'll pop that over onto Patchwork Witterings for you. As I say, nice simple one. I don't think we need a lot of instruction on that today. Just take your time, do your triangle-y bits first, and then do into strips, and then strip to strip to strip. All right. Yeah, so I'll pop that over there for you. Nice little one going on there. Anything else going on? Not a lot that I can tell you. I've done an awful lot of designing this week for something that will happen in a few months' time. All right. it's very exciting. It's also very scary, but I will tell you more about that when we get near the time, because I'm still getting my head around it all. But we've got loads of design work going on, and loads of samples need making, and all sorts of gear. It's very exciting. I can't tell you yet because I just can't cope with it really for a minute, but I will tell you further on down the line. So what else today other than keep warm, folks? Please keep warm. Do your sort of tidyings and exercises. Don't forget your exercises, because that gets it all going, doesn't it, and keeps you warmer. Or do as my mum would do, teaspoon, just literally a teaspoon, flat teaspoon of brandy in a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and that's amazing how that gets the blood going. So unless you're obviously teetotal and you can't, in which case sorry about that, but I find it works too. You don't have to be an alcoholic, just have a little tiny teaspoon, and it's amazing the difference it makes when you're freezing cold. We like it. I could be an alcoholic if I really tried, because I could drink loads of them all day long. Bigger than teaspoons. But that's probably not a good thing either. I'd be happy though. And warm. Right, okay, so just the one thing to say, obviously be lovely and happy with everybody else. Make sure everyone's all right. Jabs is going on a storm. All good, lovely. Tom's having a nice little clean here. And I'm off to write some patterns. That'll be me for the rest of the day, sat here writing and drawing and doing. Interesting fun. All right, so be lovely, folks.